So for this portion of the stream, we're going to be introducing a few of the makers who are already in the process of uploading for week 1 of 5YMM. When the codes are finalized, they're going to go up with the trailer in just a few hours, as I described before. But we'll give you a taste of who's coming, beginning with RBC, also known in some circles as WBC, I think, but I'm not exactly sure which one to use at any given time, so let's just call him RBC, who is mostly a music maker from South Korea, and also has a music maker level coming in with 5YMM this week that you can look forward to. And a lot of these tend to be just straightforward music levels. We saw one at the very beginning of the viewer level segment much earlier. But some of them are also combination music and platforming levels, and that's what you can expect later this week. So as I said, we did previously feature a lot of RBC's contributions when we did an all-music stream just a little while ago. The Michael Jackson mixes were particularly colorful, but yeah, let's complete what we did earlier and go on to look at the other Super Mario medley that was celebrating 2 years of Mario Maker 2 and change, and 5 years of Mario Maker 1 and change. And they also make Touhou music levels. That is a very good point, Electrodude. I think we had shown some of those off previously. But yeah, let's do some of these. They are fairly quick, as you can see, and let's play some tunes. And then we'll be going back to show more platformer-oriented content afterwards, but we'll just give you a taste of what RBC is like as a music maker. And yeah, that's just the easiest way into Electrodude's heart. Okay, this is also telling me to stop, which is important because there were places we saw in the previous Mario Medley level where you could lock yourself just by jumping. Although the auto-scroll would kill you, so it's not really locked. And yeah, hearing a couple of melodies here from Super Mario Odyssey, actually. I think I heard a little bit of Cascade Kingdom in there. There's quite a lot going on. And yeah, let's not jump up to that location. And oh yeah, once again, let's grab the mushrooms over here, so... Yeah, fairly quick one. We'll show you one of the Michael Jackson ones as well, and then maybe we'll find a more platforming one on the list. Yeah, thank you for the lurk, Electrodude. And let's have a listen to this mix of Smooth Criminal. I'd play some of the BTS stuff as well, but I don't know any BTS. However, I'm sure that goes over very well with the Korean scene. Okay, 94%. Surely we can't mess this up that much. And yeah, we can kind of jump to the beat in certain locations, as you can see from the question blocks. You can actually jump on the backbeat, on the 2 and 4. Really punctuates this nicely, in fact. Even if the audience is obstructing your view of yourself quite a lot of the time. Okay, and then we are resynchronized to, once again, step to the backbeat. Of course, I'm just trying to take in a lot of the visual detail that's going on in the main section here as well. It's not all just instruments. There's quite a lot going on here visually, so... And let's see if we can find a more platformer-oriented one further down the list. Just going to check that by clear rate, actually. Undertale, Hopes and Dreams, Saved World, etc. I don't actually know the Undertale tracks by name. I do distantly remembered music from playing the game many years ago, but we'll see what this actually is. Marked as a 2-minute boss battle, we'll see how that goes. Okay, we've got a 10 coin over here. And this is just a music loading segment where you should not jump, obviously, because of everything that's going to poke you in the head. And then we get dunked here. And Electrodude, I know you mostly know Touhou, but I have the sense that you also know the Undertale soundtrack for some reason. So yeah, this is going to be a level where you just kind of circle through and take the various key coins. And other coins if you want to do it. And so yeah, you've got this very open looping music style that, of course, if you're familiar with levels by General BB, there's definitely a lot of communication between RBC and some of the other Korean music makers with some of the other makers that are known to us when it comes to doing tech research on the looping music side. So that's pretty much what this level is all about, just loading that loop and having a nice open space for you to traverse without any kind of interruption. And you've known Undertale for much longer than Touhou, I see. And yeah, Matt Maker, welcome. If you have any questions about 5YMM, do feel free to ask. It officially launches in just a few hours, and there is going to be a new trailer for the Week 1 levels posted, and that's going to include a new music level by this maker, RBC, from South Korea. And we'll be showing off a few others as well. And okay, we have one more coin to go. Let's see what I missed. I did see these segments over here. I did see the spike ball. Didn't do anything with the pipes, but I could wall jump up here, yes. There we are. And yeah, I only ever played Undertale on a pretty casual basis. I never saw the full pacifist run or anything like that. But I was pretty astonished by what a massive following it had, and of course, deservedly so for the music, I think. Given that Toby Fox's background was originally as a composer and as a music student. Okay, so we do need to set this to the on state. I don't know why it's asking me to set it to the off state first. Because we do need to get dunked here. You fight. Oh, okay, here we go, boss fight. You never actually finished the game. Well, that's okay. You rocked out to it, and that is sometimes enough. Yeah, I remember I just did a very quick playthrough on PC around the time that it came out, because like, I'm from a big Earthbound background, and a lot of that community was getting behind Undertale in a big way. And so that's mainly how I heard about it back in 2015. We need to stomp on the shells and just throw them back, I think. That's all there is to it. Fairly generous clear rate just because of the generous power-ups, giving you lots to work with. We want to stomp on probably the second shell unless we grab this first. Yeah. So yeah, Junior is going to supply us with some ammunition, and then we just deflect from there while we listen to the boss tunes. Got 200 seconds to figure this out, and pelt Bowser with a few more shells. Yeah, it's always the second shell that's zoning me out just a little bit. Whoops. Let's wait for Bowser to come down. No, we're just missing consistently. But yeah, certainly the soundtrack was one of the things that impressed me the most about the game back when I first played it. Okay, let's go down here. I never followed up with that newer stuff in Deltarune, though. I know it came out, but I didn't actually keep up with it at all, so... We do have a checkpoint here, so we'll just try not to lower the clear rate too much here. Alright, time to fight. Right, because Deltarune was some kind of episodic release. I don't know, because I just wasn't keeping up with its development at all. And so I only have the vaguest sense of what it is about, apart from the fact that the title is an anagram of Undertale, which of course I would be able to spot immediately, given the other game that we play on the stream from time to time. Okay, let's try not to get nuked by too much fire here. Let's try to actually hit with a few shells. And okay, grab this. Nope. Really should stop going for the first shell every time. That's a consistent mistake. If you grab the first shell and jump on the second shell, though, you can accelerate this fight by quite a bit if you wanted to optimize it for speed. Yeah, for a Bowser fight, though, for a big Bowser fight, actually, pretty gentle. Alright, let's go down here once again. And Electrodude, yeah, that is also an alternate solution if you prefer that instead. I hadn't heard anybody point that specific thing out before, but it does work. You know, when you're all done with Deltarune, I guess that's the only logical solution for where to go next. Alright, let's go here. Mercy! So do we actually get a choice? I mean, we are past checkpoint, so who knows? Maybe we do get to decide on something. What is this? Oh hey, we get Yoshi. And fireworks. And a squirrel suit. And just a bit of a sensory kick in general as we exit this course. So we'll switch to another maker next. Now that we've given you a bit of a taste of RBC. And let's see if we can find what I'm looking for here. So the next maker we'll be showing off, also new to this year's YMM, is the very prolific Frank88. Some of whose levels we have featured on this stream before, but as you can see, I haven't played a lot of the recent ones. And so we can go through a few of these. And he's a very interesting platformer designer. This will be something that is a little more technical than what we just saw in the music levels. So let's see Serpent Road, which legend says is about 1,000,000 kilometers long. And Frank has a very interesting SMB1 platformer coming in 5YM this week as well. More than that, I don't want to spoil. But yeah, a couple of things that are time sensitive. We just race this block over. Note we need to hit the on-off first. And I was falling a bit behind at that point anyway, but I do like how if you fall behind, you can catch up a bit. Even though the pacing tool here is the snake block, it works by the same kind of logic as a level that's designed for auto-scroll, where often that works out best when you have a chance to catch up and fall behind and just have a bit of flexibility over your pacing. And so you just need to stay relatively light on your feet, not make too many mistakes along the way, and the room for error is actually quite generous if you do accidentally stall in one location for a little too long. Okay, that's going to move you over. I always forget to adjust for the snake block behaving like it always does by not dragging you so much. I think lately I've just seen too many snake blocks just used as a global loading tool rather than as a platforming tool. That accounting for its lack of drag, which has always been the case with snake blocks ever since they were introduced in the mainline Mario games, is something that's been throwing me off far more often than I would care to admit. Okay, we run over here and then through the pipe. That's fairly smooth. And then, yeah, pipe's going to give you a little bit of a shake, and we're just going to totally miss that mecha. Same idea with the Piranha Plant, though. The snake block is going to slide right under it, so we do need to get to jump over it when we actually reach that location. Yeah, jump to the right. Double hit, and just enough time to do that comfortably. We need to drag the mole. That's what that's all about, that little slot there. I just need to do that a little bit faster. Supernova, since you can't fall back asleep, Mang has conspicuously not shown up to this stream, so I think Mang was actually making good on her threat to get some sleep for a change instead of staying up for this session like she would actually have been very wise to do. Probably should have just suggested that in the first place. So yeah, Supernova, if you haven't been able to ping Mang yet, this is a good time to do so. I didn't know you were trying to sleep in the first place, to be honest. Because when did you ever do that? That seems very new for you as an adjustment. I mean, after that birthday party over at SD's stream yesterday, I suppose everybody's a little wiped out from keeping all those Yoshis alive. Okay, a little bit slow here. We'll just accelerate that a bit further. And then see how we can do. Pop this. Over on this side. And then we'll resynchronize. You butchered your sleep schedule more than Mang. Yeah, that's fine. You should enjoy it while you're young and are able to do that. There's nothing I miss more than being able to consistently pull all-nighters and just pull 30, 40-hour days like I used to be able to. I can't anymore, and it's actually really hurt my productivity. Because I used to do a lot of things that would just depend on having nice long hours to just, work on something consistently and continuously. And past a certain point, you find that you lose that ability, and it's just the worst thing if you condition yourself to rely on that as your bread and butter. I mean, I suppose that's partly a case for adjusting against it now, but, I say enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah, I'm hedging a little bit too much on that jump. I should actually do that a little bit fuller. You've been going to bed at 2 p.m. and waking up at 8 a.m.? I mean... could be worse. I mean, that... is one way to dodge the summer heat, if that tends to be a problem in your area. Okay, maybe a little bit slow through there, but no, we're going to do this just fine. A little bit slow through there, though. I'm just slightly behind. You need to slip and slide back and forth quite a ways to get everything done in a timely fashion here. Yeah, at some point you should get a solid block of sleep. It doesn't necessarily matter when, but definitely make up for that deficit. And Mr. X, yeah, actually, because you told me you were dropping earlier, we are at the end of the queue. I'm not doing the levels in the queue anymore. We did finish those a little bit earlier. But I am back on a regular basis for viewer levels in this time slot as well as the day before. So Friday to Saturday and Saturday to Sunday, depending on your time zone. So we'll hopefully be able to catch you then. Right now we're previewing one of the makers that is in this week's 5YMM set. This is Frank, or Frank88. And as you can see, a very dynamic platformer maker. This is a really great open sense of movement with lots of mildly time-sensitive action. And so yeah, his is definitely one to look forward to for the set that's coming out over the next few hours. Whoops, missed that. Yeah. I was going for the off switch. Just didn't quite make it. You know it's Frank because of all the plants? Yeah, that's true. I haven't played a lot of Frank's more recent work. I have played a few Frank levels here and there, but hadn't caught up in a long time, so this is a good excuse to do at least one or two. Okay. Over here. And yeah, lots of piranha plants used here as just a bit of a positioning tool. Okay, no, that's poorly judged. I should actually go for that high platform right away instead of losing on so much momentum there. So let's try to fix that up a little bit. And let's go down. Nope, let's not do that. That's the first time we've been hit by that guy. Okay, over here. And so yeah, Supernova, as far as sleeping from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. goes, I mean, I've definitely done that at various points. And the trick to it is to be aware of your options for 24-hour food service. Or alternatively, to work on rover missions to Mars, where the staff actually is on Martian time, on the 30-hour day cycle. Which honestly fits some people's natural rhythm better than the 24-hour cycle that we usually find enforced here instead. Okay, no, that's not a good idea. We do need to get over the Thwomp 1 jump and back But a second jump. It was the second jump, the one right after the thwomp, that I was having trouble with positioning. Let's go back. And here we go. Hit that, and yeah, everything is fine so long as we actually make that jump, and then down at the checkpoint we go, and we just have a slight escalation of risk here with the introduction of the spike tops. But the timing is going to be pretty much about the same. Same kind of obstacles. A lot you can do here with a blind read, except we needed to probably go all the way over to the mecha, as was indicated by the arrow. And that's what happens when you don't know how to read instructions. Yeah, it took me a moment to understand that, since we didn't know exactly what to aim for if I were going to take that jump over to the right. You kind of have to take this on trust in some ways. But yeah, that back and forth actually does turn out to work out quite nicely. And we'll get the 1-up. You jumped in that one tile gap. I was definitely considering it for a moment. But then I saw the mecha as I died, and then I understood that immediately. I don't think I understood that on the blind read until I was already in the pit. So that was Serpent Road by Frank88. We can probably do one more. Here's a Creeper Creek, a level in 3D world where once again it's going to involve plants, and we're going to survive the plant-infested waters. Okay, there we go. Going to sink down here, and then what have we got? Yeah, very similar idea here. We need to do this a lot faster, but yeah, I mean, we don't need water to do a vertical pipe entry. I was just totally off-center for all of that. But same kind of ideas that you find in the other levels as well. We dodge a lot of plants. We have a time-limited section to activate an on-off switch. And then we see how things go from there. Right, can we do it this time? Yes, we can. Wall jump here. That was a lot more stylish than I expected. And the creepers are going to be safely out of the way. Nope, wanted to wall jump there, and I was just a little bit too late before the scroll picked up some speed and pushed me. There is a bit of an acceleration in the custom scroll there that caught me off guard. It is a custom scroll with variable speed, as you can see, in order to match pace with certain elements like the dash panels. Yeah, a little bit of a wall jump after the spiny is actually one of the better ways to do that, I think. You probably said something about Frank and his plants in the trailer. I think you did too. Or, oh, you probably should have said something about, yeah. And that's very true. But, we'll just leave that for the players to find out the hard way instead. As they discover his sideline and gardening. Okay, I need to go fast here. Let's go. Bop, bop, bop. Yeah, wall jumping that is not a good idea. We will not make that. Yeah, that's right. And I realized afterwards that when I was suggesting demi-solid, what I actually should have said is demi-semi-solid. Because naturally I was thinking of demi-semi-quavers, which are in some music education systems the term for a 16th note. I always think of it as semi-demi, which is sometimes in use as well. Like some people call them semi-demi quavers, but because of the way the terminology stacks as you get into 32nd and the 64th notes, that technically it should be demi-semi. But that's okay. I'm sure it doesn't really affect the joke that much. Semi-demi is a lot funnier. That's very true. Okay. Now let's head over here. Okay, a little bit behind on that one. And a little bit behind here as well. Unfortunately, you can't make that with the twirl. Given that the twirl in 3D World does not really help you very much horizontally. We just need to go faster. In general. Wow, yeah, maybe not that fast. That was maybe further ahead of the scroll than we necessarily wanted. Yeah, quasi-solid if you're going for accuracy, that's probably a better way to put it. I mean, in a level like this, we're not really even dealing with quasi-solids, we're just dealing with liquid. A GPC probably would. Supernova, do I know what you mean there by GPC? I'm just... Oh, ground pound cancel, yeah. Ground pound cancel. Took me a moment to parse that, because I had to contextualize it first to see what you were responding to. Okay. Yeah, ground pound cancel here or after the wall jump? Is that what you're thinking? Because I was thinking that as well, if you need to break the wall jump before you go that far horizontally. Well, let's not do it that way. Okay, let's go up here. And hit this. And forward. Yeah, I might be a little bit slow around this though. No, we're fine. We're in very good shape, in fact, as long as we don't get nuked by this guy before we get a chance to drop in. Yeah, that's really going to leave it up to the last moment here. And we're going to get nowhere close to the top of the flag, but it worked out anyway. I guess you can wait for water level if you want to do something there. Okay, over the record by a few seconds, but it is auto-scroll for the most part, so... Congratulations to Choo Choo for having optimized that one. So, let's show off somebody else. So one of the other makers that is going to be coming in this week who is very well known for 2 different super worlds. One on this profile and one on another profile is Aegis Cook, who tells me it's pronounced Aegis, at least. Because we've been saying Aegis all this time because of the English word. Taken from the Greek. And yeah, they were actually here a little bit earlier in the stream. You can see, in fact, that Super Spiny Brothers is already up. And that, who got first clear on this, actually? Okay, world record and first clear by Nabuz, also from the YMM projects. Yeah, no, I've always said Aegis, but maybe it's a Dutch thing, Supernova. But he can correct me on that further if you want. So, yeah, as I was saying, Aegis Cook has a massive SMB3 superworld in his profile, and another very large Super Mario World superworld that we played on the stream just a few months ago. We're going to take a look at some of the older singles. And of course, like I said, 5YMM is up, although of course before the official announcement, the codes may or may not be subject to change, so we'll be revisiting that with time. Let's take a look at Dizzy Miss Buzzy. The first of a set of classic SMB3 courses. We had previously seen the follow-up to that on viewer levels, but let's go back and see this one. 20-second record. Very interesting. Okay, down we go. And yeah, just going to SMB3 our way through this zone that looks very much like SMB3 in some ways. Apart from being scaled, of course, for the widescreen aspect ratio, but of course it matches in some ways the way that SMB3's original jump physics are. Some of the widest in the classic Mario series in terms of how much distance you can get off a jump, and it's just a very floaty game if you go back to it. Especially with a lot of Maker recently under your fingertips, so. In that sense, even with the original aspect ratio, SMB3 was actually built rather wide when it came to obstacles and spaces that you could slide around. As well as that sense of openness to the spaces themselves, where you have this very faithful connectivity of underground and overground. Everything on the right side looks like it's vulnerable to a scroll break. I guess that's where we go, unless this is just a bonus hammer segment. This looks very suspicious, though. I'm just thinking about my camera position here. I really doubt this is something, but yeah, I didn't think so, given the camera. But I was very curious. We check that kind of thing. That's just going to happen from time to time. Alright, let's... Whoa, okay. Get whacked by a shell once again. Shells come down. Shells go forward, and yeah, that's just going to continue sailing all the way over. And yeah, big buzzy shell is going to get me across everything on this side. That was rather dangerous, but we made it. And I think we checked everything we wanted to up here, unless there was something else to look at. So let's just go forward before we do anything back there. Yeah, just a little bonus segment with the hammers then, in the SMB3 style. And that was a quick one. Yeah, we'll save the old SMB3 Super World for some other time. These two levels, however, were part of some kind of collaborative project, SL3E. I don't actually know what project that is. Clearly it's part of a collaborative Super World, but I don't know it. So somebody can let me know about that. But we can, in the meantime, take a look at 6A Chili Choo Choo. Shoo shoo, you're not welcome on my choo choo. Lemmy's very protective of his train. Okay, have a couple of mushrooms here, and yeah, very different aesthetic take on the train levels using the airship theme. You don't see them in Night Airship all that often, but the stormy look befits it quite well. And we'll just try not to hug the auto-scroll too tightly in case we get shot in the face. And we'll just lower one gate at a time, and yeah, these are retractable in either direction, with whatever setup is underneath. Hopefully using some conveyor pushing here and there. And this will just gradually get blasted on this car over here, which is full of all kinds of valuable cargo that's just getting blasted. Wondering about reaching the top segment there. I think I see how to do it, but you would need it to probably have the blaster be in a raised position or in the process of being raised, and jump up above the car from there. We'll think about that when we go back and see if we can find a way to boost ourselves up. But we won't have too much of a window of opportunity for that, just given the auto-scroll here. Okay. Now, yeah, that mecha is just going to float around there. I mean, we can also take advantage, I think, of the mecha positioning if we can do something useful with them. Yeah, I wonder about this. I feel like I would need to use the mecha somehow. We do need to drop this icicle. That's fairly understandable. Cannonball? Oh, okay. You can't really go that far up to the coins on the left, though. You can ascend there with the cannon. But I guess that continuous row of coins would not be completely obtainable if that's the only way up. Only partly so. Alright, let's head over here. Get this. And let's see how we do over here. There we go. Alright, same idea here then. We would just need to be a little bit careful here in the absence of any remaining power-ups. I actually wonder if it would be something like an invisible block that would get me upstairs. But it seems not. And yeah, definitely the look and feel of this is very, very nice. Yeah, let's drop that. But yeah, everything about this looks very clean. I've seen, as I said before, just lots of train levels. This is an incredibly popular format and has been ever since Maker 1. You could honestly do a whole stream that's just train levels and even restrict yourself to picking ones that are reasonably good. And, okay, Lemmy's is just going to hang right here. And we're going to dodge that very gracefully. Yeah, Supernova, I don't know if you've played the one by Noir, the Japanese maker. Noir had a really, really good train level. We featured it last year in one of the pre-4YMM streams. And I believe it was daytime, but it had a lot of similar ideas as this one aesthetically. But yeah, definitely very solid work from Aegis on this one as well. I didn't check the blue pipe at the front of the engine. I feel like I should have checked it. No, there was a slope in front of it. That's not enterable. Never mind. So yeah, really nice Chili Choo Choo there. Let's see its counterpart in the other remaining SL3E level, Leva Parch to Pass, since these are fairly quick and we can get through a pile of them. You bet Choo Choo would love that level? Yeah, that would be thematically appropriate. Yeah, we won't be doing too many more of these. This is the first week that we're trying to do the combo viewer level and maker feature stream. And it is, of course, going to run a little bit long, but so we'll see if the format works out for future weeks. I don't know if this is something that makes sense for people, if they would like to see this format continue as we go into the later weeks of 5YMM. But yeah, I always really enjoy having a bit of a look in advance at some of the makers who are uploading, just so we can dole out some more informed commentary about their style when we play their project levels proper. And so we'll see if we retain this format next Saturday night to Sunday morning, or if we do something else instead. But in the meantime, we'll just play some more of these and head out. And of course, here I'm mainly featuring the makers who are new to 5YMM and not previously present. That won't always be the case. It's more that some of the other makers that are coming in this week, we've shown most of their stuff on stream before. Like dozens and dozens of their levels, and so if you're a regular viewer here, you've already got some idea of what to expect. Okay, so everything's going down symmetrically. Definitely can't grab all the coins. You really do have to pick one half and stick with it. But the coin trails are fairly good here in terms of allowing me to play blindly past the burners. Love the burning effect on the bottom, of course. That's just done with some object dragging through the lava. It's a very beautiful effect in this style. I'm quite fond of it. Also something I've been playing around with myself. And yeah, I don't know if we just missed a second exit. I think that's actually likely to be the case, in fact. Okay, so we need to fight Junior under a bit of a time limitation here before the walls close in, much like they do in some of the fights in the Super Mario World. I want to say it's the Morton and Roy fights. Look at that, the lava level kind of comes up at that time as well. And, well, I mean, it was kind of bobbing up and down, so we needed to not get scorched by that while playing around walls as well. And yeah, the asbestos lining is definitely working out here. for Mario's extremely durable set of overalls, which are also somehow lightweight enough to allow him to swim around in a night castle. Alright, let's pull up somebody else. So the next person we'll be featuring is Pink Tops. Also a very heavy presence on Mario Maker Reddit under the name Pink Triceratops, which of course doesn't fit here. And he's somebody we featured a few weeks ago when we played the entirety of Pink Tops Super World. As with Aegis, we'll be doing a few of the more recent pieces today, and as you can see, Springbone Scaffolding literally just came out, and Kaito over here not only sniped the first clear, but did so on one very clean attempt. Love that title image on that too, that's very beautifully drawn. We won't be looking at that right away, although we'll leave it up to you folks to take a look at that and maybe make a run at that world record. But we'll take a look at some recent pieces, maybe. Like a Prickly Pitless Place, which I understand was actually the first level that Pink Tops ever finished in 3D World, despite having ranked out dozens and dozens of levels in the original styles ever since the launch of the game. And yeah, you did get a lot from Mario Maker Reddit, especially a lot of the people who are the strong traditional designers, I think. So springy, spiky, spelunking, 3 1-ups, 3 10s, 130, 150. Because I had mostly fallen out of touch with what goes on with Mario Maker Reddit. I find that I just hadn't kept up with it in Maker 2 at all. But then occasionally you would see some of the people who do browse it recommend some of the traditional makers who come up there and have some ideas that really stand out from the rest, and definitely some makers like Pink Tops and Aegis were part of that set that I had heard about by reputation well in advance. And yeah, we could have gone down there for the 1-up. So interestingly enough, this off-screen setup with the twisters just off the scroll-locked boundary that we have in the bottom layer is something I'm quite familiar with, because one of my first levels in 3D World with the bullies use the same thing, except of course we have totally different objects that are being elevated here. So it's kind of interesting to me personally that Pink Tops decided to go for this setup for that first crack at 3D World. Because it's a very dynamic and nimble kind of mechanic in spite of the inherent jankiness involved with playing with twisters all the time. We only have 2 coins so far. I feel like we probably would have gone for more. Also love how Checkpoint drops you immediately into what seems like a bounce platform that's slightly off screen. Just to give you a bit of an initial reminder that this is in fact going to be safe. So if you're responding from Checkpoint and you have no attention span, you have a very quick reminder there. We just need to go over this one, I think. There we are. 3 coins so far. We have number 4 over here. And yeah, it's more off-screen bounce platforms once again. Okay. And yeah, I actually wonder if the upper pipe is accessible. It actually feels like a fairly plausible secret if we can reach it, but I don't think we can, despite the springiness of some of the platforms down here. So that'll remain an object of curiosity as we head over to this checkpoint and go back to an auto-scroll, which Yeah, it's a very subtle trick that you can do to substitute for the custom scroll in the subworld, because here we're back in the main world, and I know that because of the way the scroll is set up, I think, but in the subworld where you do not have access to the custom scroll to do the usual screen locking tricks that you can with it, you can just build lots of segments vertically and use those rooms instead to use a vertical autoscroll to kind of simulate the same kind of screen locking of the y-axis. I could probably describe it a little bit more elegantly, but I feel like that's at least partly what's going on here. So you can see how, you know, this thing here is 2 screens wide. We are in a subworld, but that is vertically locked. And that's because you would have a vertical subworld that's built 2 screens wide, and you would just build it in such a way that you have a scroll stop going up top. Except, however, you see ice on top here, so I don't think... If it is an upward scroll, it's doing so at the very top of the screen. Like at the very top of the vertical layout, if that's how it's built. I'm just sort of reverse engineering that in the back of my mind here as we missed the flag spectacularly. I have no way of going back since we expended key in the warp block. So that was a prickly, pitless place. Yeah, we've done the upside down version of this time upright already. I think this is actually literally the same level but flipped. It's a bit of a controlled experiment in what upside down does to the clear rate. We'll do one more though. We'll do Sewage Surfer from back in January. You take your car to work. I'll take my board. And, oh, whoops. Well, I took the board, that's for sure. Let's see the first segment up here again. Before we bounce around up here. I think maybe that is the main way forward. Oh. That's not what I expected. But that's okay, we've got room. Alright, so we know how the lava works in that section. Let's take a look at how the pattern is going to go in this section in case we can do much here. This is just a bonus. Yeah, I see. So it is deliberately meant to tempt you into going down as you pick up the shell and try to ride it. And yeah, we're going to drop in quite safely. Even with the lava level at its bottommost point there. And get out safely over here. And then the screen is just going to be completely covered. And yeah, we have a setup that warps us over to the left side with the screen wipe. I've seen that in a couple of levels before. We've seen the specific trick that's a quasi-teleportation used in some cutscene-like auto levels before, as well as something similar in the dark level by Lupin Snoop, I think, Master of Shadows. But this specific trick with the poison screen disguising a room transition, or disguising a kind of a screen wipe like that, is something I've not often seen in an actual platformer. We should stall here and wait for an opportunity for the lava to come back down so I can go for that coin. Like Loop's dark level, but with poison. Exactly, Supernova. That's what I was thinking of as well. Whoops. That's okay, we have room. But yeah, that's always a fun thing to work with, for sure. While you get bounced around off screen or repositioned. And here we go. So yeah, let's actually wait this one out. And I know that screen wipe... No, the screen wipe is actually going to push me all the way out. So we will miss that coin. So you do only have that first opportunity to take it before you lose. So unfortunately, it looks like we'll miss the secret unless we take a death at some point here. But we have 2 passages to go through, and we'll miss that coin as well, so that's okay. We'll take another shot at it. Alright, let's move through here and bounce all the way over. And then we'll listen to the sound effects while we see this transition negotiated. Sound effects for this are always a nice touch, just to give the screen that little extra halo on the side. Yeah, if I understand it correctly, this is done with scroll break and an auto-scroll pushing you into position. And can we go down here? Yes, we can. Yeah, we can just do this. Let's let go of the jump button so we don't accidentally cut right through the shell. Let go of the dash button, I should say. And through the pipe we go. And 4 coins at checkpoint. I hope that's complete so far, but we'll maybe go for this one up here on the side. And all the way back up. And nope. We are at checkpoint though, so we are not going to get bumped back too far here. I was wondering about hitting that, of course. I feel like we will want it for at least something optional. Anyway, we're going to get carted all the way across here, and let's see where we end up. And okay, I'll hit that switch, and then we'll see what the consequences of that will be as we warp into the next zone here, which has everything closed off now, and we probably wanted to hit that, yes. I'm thinking about what's going on with the on-switch activation there, but I think I have a bit of an idea. Obviously, when we get into that segment with that last coin, we need to hit the off switch, toggle everything back to on the way up, but I'm wondering about like what is the requirement for this particular on switch. I guess you're just expected to hit it. Because I was wondering if it was something optional. But no, we just get over here and make sure we're fairly quick about that. So yeah, the lava level, rather the poison level, pushes you well out of the way, and then you can just slide over here just in time, and then we have 1 coin remaining that's likely to be right at the exit, given that we are past a checkpoint split That would necessitate a safety coin. Likely something in here. Just so we have the safety coin and a nice gentle placement. Let's see about that 1-up, which we missed. And let's pop in here and see what this is going to do to us. Frog suit. Great. Frog suit, however, is not poison proof. Not that kind of poison frog. Love the decoration of the frog suit all over the froggy room, though. If you look at it over here, it really is quite pretty in terms of how it blends. And you've found the frog habitat, and it also matches up quite nicely with the boundary to this room as well. It's a very nice touch, like all these little things, like the way that the ground blocks wrap around the grinder blades there. All these luxuries that traditional or traditional-esque makers have when they just have tons of entity space remaining for whatever it is they're doing. That's not going to push me anywhere useful, unfortunately, and I was wondering about that. I mean, it was open. We just had to follow our curiosity there. But that's what we get for our trouble. Hey, look who's here. It is Mang, and Mang is, in fact, awakened up and running. Good to see you here, Mang. We took key death, of course, but after seeing the secret room of the frog, so... And yeah, Meng, glad you could make it. Ordinarily, of course, you're in the stream much earlier, but as with Supernova, I think a couple of people here have been doing a bit of a sleep realignment for whatever reason. Yeah, I won't be able to run a stream this long every week, so we'll have to perhaps rethink how to organize this if we are in fact going to continue doing this sort of double stream with viewer levels plus 5YMM feature. But for the time being, I'm glad we're taking the time to actually showcase a lot of levels by some of the people we see here today, so... So yeah, Meng, certainly hoping that you get through all of the 5YMM levels before I get to them, so we can actually show off your comment art on the stream. Okay, let's see what happens when we miss the on-off switch. I think it just gets us easily through the next room. I think we had, in fact, done that at least once. Unintentionally already. No, the switch actually does force a switch to off, even if you missed that in the previous room. So it does set everything aright when you come in this room and enforce that you do it properly. Okay, up we go. And everything is coming back down. And we've seen a frog room already, so let's just take the clear and go. Okay, we'll do one more by a different maker, and that will probably be all we do this stream, because despite Mang having come in just now, we're probably not going to take an extra hour to do a Mang level at this moment. But we'll have one coming soon enough, and so thank you for the host, Zypher. Good to see you here. We actually are winding down the stream fairly soon, but we'll do one more level as a bit of a celebratory dessert. So hello to everybody who's coming in with Zypher as host. So let's spin this up. Just give me one moment. And we'll dig out something by, if we can find it. Okay, so this is Lantis. Lantis is not a new maker that's being introduced with 5YMM. Lantis is in fact somebody who has been around every year since 1YMM and is a maker who specializes in easy levels, usually does the easy end of the project and makes levels with extremely high clear rates that are nevertheless very interesting to people who play this game at a more advanced level. And we showed off a lot of Atlantis' older levels last year. The 5YMM one isn't up yet, I don't think. No, it is up. It's actually very newly up. And this is Skyward, but we'll show that off when we actually run 5YMM properly in just a few days. For now, though, because this is an occasion for a celebration, we don't particularly mind that as August, we are going to play Super Merry Christmas Brothers. And believe in the magic of Christmas, because when 5YMM levels are on the way, it's like we're getting Christmas every week. And so, let's believe, let's play. And yeah, Cypher, thank you for dropping some of your folks off here, and you have a good bedtime. And hope your stream also went well today. So we've got a massive mushroom here. We squandered the snowball right away. And the mushroom is going to drop us in and do what? Probably we can hit this. Despite being a mushroom room, it's going to give us a fire flower. And this is just bricks, so we can break open. And yeah, what kind of design was this? We had a mushroom first, and then we had something. This is another mushroom. It's a one-up mushroom. And this is going to be a candy cane, I think. It's a gigantic candy cane. It took me a while to parse what was going on with it. And Merry Christmas. Very seasonally appropriate. Oh, we can blast some of this and see what comes out. It's just plants, as far as I can tell. And yeah, we'll knock out some of these guys as they try to chuck snowballs at us. And Spirit Wolf, welcome back with the raid. See that it hasn't diminished your emote count in the slightest, and that your army is only growing. Look at a snowman over here with the POWs. That's very neat. We didn't really get that 50 coin. I guess I would need to fly with a Tanuki in order to explore and get up to that. We could do that. Because that would allow me to wrap my way back up to the checkpoint anyway, so may as well. Okay, Snowman's going to give me the 50 coin, and now what is this thing over here? It looks like a treasure chest. I think it is a treasure chest, and we can break open the treasure chest using the Tanuki, which then allows me to go further down until we see what else awaits us. Oh, well, a bit of an optional exit down here. That's main thing we're getting out of this experience. Whip this guy, whip this guy. And what is this? This looks like a boot. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't really read the top half. Ah, no, this is indeed a sprite of Mario inside the Karibo's shoe, in fact. It took me a while to process that, but that is, in fact, what's going on. Whoops. Let's not keep missing this guy, even with all of this ice going around and throwing off my position. Okay, let's head up here and grab the 30. This is a reindeer. Generous helping of venison. And do we really want fire at this point? Let's see. I think I would prefer to stay with Tanuki for the moment, while we collect a star, unless we see a particular reason to be going for fire instead. And this is a Christmas tree, and if we pound the Christmas tree, we can collect everything down here. And that's the gold card. Nice way to set that up, in fact. We could have gone from the bottom, but what fun would that be? That would be like opening your gifts in August or something. Long before it's Christmas time. And Spirit Wolf, you just call that a tail. Yeah, I mean, technically the original Tanuki suit is the statue suit, and the leaf is just a raccoon leaf. Like the raccoon suit and a Tanuki suit, although the mythical Tanuki in Japanese folklore was the inspiration for both, as well as the whole idea of putting a leaf on your head for the transformation. So, but that's what happens when you actually do grow up with some supplementary material like the manual to SMB3, is that that's why I refer to jump blocks, whereas newer players say note block, for instance, because that's just been programmed into me for the last 30 years. Anyway, that's going to be it for this stream pretty much, but we can see, in fact, that a couple of the 5YMM courses are up. We have 6 of them accounted for, so there are 2 more that are coming in that have not been uploaded yet, I think. Yeah, because there are 8 in this week's set, and you can see that Mangs actually just went up, and First Clear is still available, so if you want to go for that. Here's your exclusive look at the code, although, like I said, the codes are not absolutely final until you have the video and the official launch coming up in just a few hours. That's going to be in about I want to say 7 hours. Yeah. 8 Pacific, 5 hours. 5 hours. I can count. It's going to be 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and 5 p.m. Central European Standard Time. And you can see the trailer and all of the finalized level codes posted on this website when I do come up. We'll be covering those levels starting on the Monday to Tuesday stream if all goes according to plan. If things do not go according to plan, we always have supplementary announcements on the Discord server. So, have fun going for the first clear on that one and the record times on anything else. And we have 2 more uploads coming, and we'll see all of these levels soon enough. And yeah, I've playtested some of these in events, and you folks are in for such a treat. It is a great set this year, and there are going to be more coming week to week, all the way into September. I can count, but can I tell time? I'm not always convinced, Spirit Wolf, that I can count. But we try. We really do try. In the meantime, thank you so much for everybody who submitted levels during the viewer level segment today. And we'll certainly be seeing more from you as time goes on. Thank you especially to Zero Planes for bringing in the gigantic raid, and also Zypher for bringing in a bit of an audience as well near the end. And that's pretty much going to be it for this stream. We will pass you on to somebody very shortly. I'm just going to browse around to decide who to send you to. Probably somebody else doing Mario Maker. But we will see. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this double feature. We'll see if we preserve this format into next week, and if we don't, any changes will be announced in advance. Have a good night or good morning or afternoon or whatever applies wherever you are, and especially have an excellent time with 5YMM. Until next time, fare thee well.